where we are creating a survival horror game very similar to the classic Resident Evil games and even Silent Hill games, very similar. And normally we've been making a lot of environments, and we sort of split the areas up. We did the streets, the alleyways, some buildings, and then the next section was going to be the hospital, so around the hospital, in the hospital, and then after that we were going to have the evil underground lab. And we're just starting off the hospital. However, I need more time to map out the hospital so I know what areas we're going to make. So what I thought we would do today is we would go back over some of the old areas, because we've kind of neglected them in terms of gameplay. So I thought I would try and put in some kind of door transition so we can link all of the areas we've made so far. I think it would be quite cool just to see if everything flows together quite well. And also I want to add in sort of like a font, so when you press X to analyse something, I want to figure out what font we're going to use for that. And what else was I going to do? I was going to fill in some of the camera angles as well, just to make it more playable from all the environments we've made so far. So that's what we're going to go through today. Hey Isaac Clyde, PSN Nightmare Grand, I remember. Hey there, how are you? I noticed that you found the jukebox. I do not know how you managed it, because it's unlisted. You'll need to tell me how you found it, because you found a loophole. Hey Alpha Werewolf, welcome back. Hope you're having a great week. Hey Red Stool, welcome back again. Red Stool and I have a very special jukebox to show off today. So one thing I need to do first is, I think in this scene, I actually already put it, here it is here. It was a Resident Evil 3 track, maybe you can hear it. I'm going to quickly turn my audio down. We'll try 7, normally we go for 7, hopefully that's okay. But this was one that I used to have, because I was like just testing out the level with this kind of music. But today we've updated the jukebox, and we're using real tracks, because there's not that many tracks that's been made inside Dreams yet. So we're going to import a lot of stuff, and we've started with Resident Evil 3, which is quite appropriate, because I would say out of all the Resident Evil games, 3 is probably the one that replicates sort of what we're trying to do in this game. A city that's under chaos. And I know Resident Evil 2 had a lot of chaos as well, but I think Resident Evil 3, you spend a bit more time on the streets, don't you? So we have the survival horror jukebox, and I got some help from Red Stool. He helped to import a lot of the tracks, so big thank you to him. And he even went one step further and did all the logic, so we don't really have to worry too much about making our own logic. So apparently he's made a bonus track here, so once we get to track 13, we'll need to see what that is. So here you can see we can force the next track, we can do random tracks, and if you want to turn the music off, I guess we can turn the music off. Normally I would do random tracks, but I want to go through all of the tracks today, and it's not every track from Resident Evil 3, it's just a sort of a small handful, small collection. And as the weeks go by, we'll hopefully add more games, so Resident Evil 1 and 2, and the Silent Hill 1, 2 and 3 as well, and possibly some other games once I've did some research on some other tracks, some other survival horror games or horror games which you think might be good to include. So I'm just going to play through this as we do, as on the normal stream, and obviously we always get our trademark zombie moan at the start, so let's check this out and see if it works quite well. So there you go, there's your first track. So hopefully the audio, the volume's nice to sort of keep it in the background. And if you're a fan of Resident Evil 3, I'm sure you'll recognise a lot of these tracks. And maybe I missed out one of your favourites, but I was having a quick look through the playlist and these were the ones that sort of stood out to me. There are many different jukeboxes to choose from. I think I just sought for music player. I have songs by P Great Official, Ermikit and Velvet Audio in my playlist, and the dog song. Oh yeah, the dog song is always perfect. We don't have the dog song today, unfortunately, but it will make a return at some point. Right, so today this is like the very first environment we ever made, and it was inside the alleyway. And even though the lighting wasn't finished, it's probably one of the only scenes where I actually focused on the lighting. It looks a bit better when you're through the camera angles and stuff, but a lot of this stuff hasn't really been updated. You can see there's like holes in the walls here, so I'm going to replace all of these walls and stuff. But what I wanted to do was try to put in some of the gameplay, and so we can transition between all of the areas, so it'll be cool, so we can finally see what it's like to go from here to here and so on. So the first thing I want to do is, I think I made logic here. Yeah, I made like a really basic note here, but we're not actually going to use that. I just want to figure out what font we're going to use for the text. So normally when you play these classic survival horror games, you press X on lots of objects. So like if you press X on the dumpster, it will say something, the trash, you know, the trolleys, whatever. There's lots of descriptions. So I need to figure out what font we're going to use. So let me just align this up. So obviously it's going to go on the bottom. Let me just turn off all these things. I hate that all these things are on by default. Every single time I have to turn them off. So let's see. Let me just write in something. Let's put in our survival horror font, right? And let me just make it white so we can see. Okay, so do you know what's funny? The default font is the second one, it's not the first one. Most people might think that's the first one and then just scroll forward, but if you go back, there's actually another font. I don't know why they made that the default one, the second one. I thought they would make it the first. Anyway, so we're going to go through the fonts, and there's a lot of fonts, that's the problem. So we'll probably have to, like, if we find one we like, we'll have to duplicate and we'll compare and see what everyone prefers the most. Boo, thumbs down. Don't thumbs me down, please. I added a button at the bottom to jump to the bonus track if you want to use that as a jump cut. Ah, okay. Yeah, I'll need to see what it is first before we make a decision on that. Hey Chang Sticks, welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a great week. Awesome stuff, man. You from Scotland? I used to live in Dundee. Oh, very nice. Yes, I am from Scotland. I don't live near Dundee. It was not in Glasgow, but close to Glasgow. So you are Scottish yourself, or you just lived there for a while? Yup, he's Scottish. Oh yeah. The Scottish Dreams, man. Okay, so we've got the survival horror front. Right, so this is the first one. I'm going to just look through myself. It's going to be hard for you guys to tell me which font to choose because there's no real numbers here, but I'm just going to go through and see, because like the second one's like the normal font and it looks okay, but I feel like it could be better. So let's see. I think that's maybe a bit too bold. Let me just stretch this out a bit more. Right, definitely not that one. That's more sci-fi. This one looks kind of okay. I mean, it's not perfect, but I think it's what you would normally expect. But let me just have a keep going through, see what else we can find. Definitely not that one. That's a bit ridiculous. No, not that one. Too clean, too bold. I guess that's another one. See, I'm probably going to go for something that's like more of a thin font. So let's keep going through and see what else we can find. Not that one, too sci-fi, too fancy. Again, too fancy. Again, way too fancy. Too cartoony. Nope. Nope. No. 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 What the hell is that? I don't even, is that even a font? I don't. No, thank you. That doesn't look good. I guess that was kind of similar to one we used before. That's like what we used before, but a bit thinner. Probably not going to use that one. No, that one looks more real. It's got some curves on it. I feel like a little bit of fanciness. Let's see what's next. The same thing, more or less, just without the little curves on the... Oh wait, they add curves on the bottom. Alright, I'm not going to use curves on the bottom. Or do you think the curves on the bottom look good? Ah, who knows, let's just give you another option. So many fonts to choose from. I guess that could work as well. See, it's something that's more plain, more simple, not too bold. Let's get curves on it. No. See, there's a lot of fonts here that just look the same as ones that we already went past. Like, because you could do that one as well, and it looks very similar to about the other 5 that we came across. Oh, I need to turn that off. Too fancy. No. 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 Way too thin, I think. Nah, too crazy. Too cartoony. See, it's like things we've already sort of seen before. I don't really see much of a difference. That's the problem with a lot of fonts. If it's not really crazy, it's hard to really tell the difference. See, like that one. Look, that is like super simple. It's probably something that I would use. But we're near the end. See, I'm sure I saw this font before. Like, it looks very similar. No. 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 That one's way too crazy. So is that one. Right, I think we've pretty much got to the end of it, right? So we've got 7 here, but there was a few more that were pretty identical, but there's no point in choosing between 2 that look very similar. The bonus track is just Nemesis theme, nothing bad. It better not be. You better not ruin this stream. I'm telling you. I'm from Miami originally. Love Scotland. I went to uni there for a while. Video game design and animation. Oh, very good. That's quite nice. So why did you come to Scotland to study? Was it specifically to study, or you were just living here when you were younger and went to school here? Hey Swickfolk, welcome back to the stream. Hope you've been having a great week. I love how something as simple as font can set the tone. Yeah, it really does, because there's so many stupid fonts that we can't use. So now we need to decide what font is more appropriate. True that. I get home. Hey Jinkich. I get home, excited to play Dreams, turn on my PS4, grab a can of pop, get comfy on the sofa, pick up my controller, loads up Dreams, copying update file. Yeah, there's a new update, and it doesn't add that much. It adds like this little online thing here to let you know who's online, who's not. There's a new art asset pack for the garden, but it's very cartoony, and there's a few other little updated things and things like that. But right, so hold on, let me just get a good view here. Right, so there's the first one. Right, is there any objections to this? Because for me, simple, looks alright. Maybe it's a bit too big. Never mind the size, because I can always shrink it. Just really focus on the font. So this is the first one, right? So you can vote and tell me what is your favourite font out of the 7. So this is number 1, so get a good look and see if this is what you like. This is number 2. I'm probably not going to go for this one actually, because it's a bit too bold for my liking. So there you go, there's only going to be 6 options now, right? Here's your second one. It's a bit more fancy. I might not use it then because it is too fancy. 3, it's very similar as you can see from 2. 2 and 3 are very close to each other. It's the only difference is that this one has the little, let's say, tail flicks on the feet. But other than that, it's very, very similar. This one, it's got more of a italic style. It's slightly bent forward. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Then we've got this one, which is again, it's more simple. And then the last one. See, I kind of like the last one because it's similar to this one, simple, but it's a bit thinner. You know, if you look at this one, it's a bit more bold, and then if you look at the first one, it's got a bit more, it feels a bit more cartoony. So out of all of these, the one that I'm leaning more towards is this one, just because it's simple, it feels more serious, it's not too bold, because this isn't that bold, but this one looks a bit better. So if I give you an example, right, just to see what this looks like. If I just write like an old rusty dumpster. Right. If you imagine that as you're analysing it, does that look good? Because I can make it smaller, but it feels more serious to me. 2 so far. Okay. I guess you must have missed an update. My mother's from Northern Ireland, so we were there a few years prior. After college there, I got advised that Scotland was best for that area of study. Good times. Oh, very nice. Well, I know Dundee is very popular for the game design. It's quite famous actually. I never went to Dundee, but I'm assuming it was pretty cool. I personally like the third one the most. In my opinion, I think 3. Oh, okay. The update fixed the notification list, so after viewing something you don't start at the beginning every time. Oh, that is good. That was a nightmare, because every time I was looking through things and I wanted to click like if you shared a creation with me, and then I went back to the start again and I had to go all the way back. So that's good that that's fixed. 2 or the last one, yeah, so this is the last one here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to compare them all, right? So let me just get the ones that you guys liked. So Drinkage, you liked 2, and this is the last one. This is 3, right? So I'll put in the same text, right? I can't even remember what I wrote. It was an old rusty dumpster, right? And the same here. Okay, there we go. And let me just change this so we can actually see them all. That might overlap. Let me just do this. Okay. Let me just move. Oh, what the hell happened there? Let me take off the... so I can move them around. Did I move that one off? Can't remember. Oh, okay. Right. That's funny. What the hell happened there? Did I move something else? That was weird. Right, so we'll get this one. This one here. And then that one. Right. So let me just... I don't even need to turn them all on, I can just do that, can't I? Right, so that's the three options we have, right? So, which one was which? That was the dumpster, right, that was that one, right? So you've got the second, the third, and the last one, right? So you've got, this is the second one, this is the third one. They look identical, look, it's more or less the same thing, except the P has a tail on the bottom, and like the S doesn't have a tail here, it's more flat. I don't know, there's not really much of a difference, maybe like this one has a flick on it. So I like the last one, I think. Go with the last font. Oh, okay, Last of Us font. Is that the Last of Us font? Oh well, very nice. Oh, and it's good to see you again, Scheme. Welcome back. Let me see. You choose the italic version of it though, but that's my vote. Out of those three, I like 3. Okay, so out of those 3 here, so that's the first. The second, they look identical to me. So let me delete. Oh, not all of them. Not the wall. Right. So we've got, it's between these two. So it's basically, do you want something that is a bit bolder? Because that, I mean, this one's got more little flicks on it. It's a bit more fancy, but it is bolder. So I guess it just depends on how well you can read something that's not bold. So if you look at it like that, an old rusty dumpster. Because for me, this one looks more like, because it is bold, it's more like a cartoony thing. That's just my opinion. So that's why I was more leaning towards this one. I would say 1. I wish the second one was thinner. Yeah. Maybe there is another version. There's so many fonts that are very identical. I don't know actually, I like the first one style, but would be better with a bold version. So you prefer this one? Are you saying this is the first one? Yeah, like a bold version of a thin font. I don't know if there is one, let me see. Maybe there is. So before it, there's more cartoony stuff. Nah, see, I would have thought it would have came together. But if you see anything in your own in your own game at some point, you can let me know if there is a similar font that's just a bit more bold. Because I do like that one, but I just don't see one that's sort of thin. Because I don't want a font that's too round either. I feel like some of these fonts are more cartoony or sci-fi. Like I don't know if this one's good. Do you think that one's good? I don't know. Let me see. Let me just move this down. Maybe that's a bolder version? Which is weird because you would think these two fonts would be close together in the list, but they're not. This one was way before. So what about this one then? Do you think a bolder version is better? I think it looks good. So that's good then. So if you want a bolder version of this font, it does exist. Yeah, I don't think the bold font looks too good actually. But that's blatantly just personal preference. Well, what about this one? So here we've got the thin version and the bold version. So let me see if I turn on the lighting, right? If that helps you a little bit to see. So it's right now it's between those two. If you want a thin version or a slightly more bolder version. I think the thinner version looks nicer. So we're back to square one now. I agree. That one, the bold one. We've got a split in opinion here. So some of you want the thin one, some of you want the bold one. Oh great. Now we've got a debate on our hands here. Well, I'll leave both of them here, and as time goes on, I'm sure we'll lean more towards a certain one. So I'll keep these two handy, just in case. Let me just throw them in a microchip just to, so I don't lose them. Okay. And I guess I need to like just create things that we're going to click on. I don't know if I'm actually going to use this notes on the ground. Dear homeless man, you have been evicted from the job centre. You're no longer welcome. Right, so like I want as many things as possible to be clicked on, right? So let's just say people go back, right? And they want to see this fire. They would say something like, I don't know if I want to make it sound like really descriptive or if I want to make it more like the character's thoughts. Let me just, I'll write it as it is, like a proper description. So like a fire rages on. Not going back that way. Okay. Dot dot dot, just to, you know. So the fire rages on, not going back that way. We can always update these as well if they suck. So you can click on this and it's going to talk about the fire. Then we've got the dumpster, which I don't think is that important, but it's there. And I definitely want to do one for the old man. Did you notice how after the update they made the microchips a lot brighter by default? Because this is an old microchip from early access, and this is a new one. Right, I know this is getting a little messy, but I know where everything is. I'm probably going to change this, right? But just because this was our first ever stream and we dedicated ourselves to this homeless man, I think it's only appropriate that we honour him. Lays lifeless. Obviously he's dead. He's dead. I don't know if I should make a joke. Poor guy. There you go. That'll do, I think. So we can click on the fire, we can click on the homeless guy, we can click on the dumpster. We can click on some of the trash and say a bunch or maybe a pile of worthless junk. I think that's all that really needs to be said about this one. The shopping carts, I don't think it's so important, but see, I don't know if there's a limit. Should I literally make you click on everything? Because normally you can click on not everything, but almost everything. But what I'll do is I'll make a description for everything, and then if there's some things that are just worthless, I'll remove. Because like the shopping trolleys, I probably would remove it, because you're not really going to see much of it. Flip a coin, oh god. Yeah, that's probably how it's going to go. Both good, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, but it all comes down to these finer details. We need more font types, at least half look the same, yeah. Just that they have a little curve or something. Hey Delirium, welcome back to the stream. Hope you're having a great week. Hey, I finally caught you on. Yeah, you did, thankfully. So you can give us some advice on what we're going through. We're actually going back to the very first stream, the very first environment we ever made, because now we're going to start to put in the description, the descriptive text, and the door transitions, and we're going to finalise the camera angles for all the scenes. So every scene we've made in the street leading up to the hospital, we're going to see how it all flows together, just to see, and we'll get a good idea if we think it's flowing quite nice or not before we finalise these areas and start properly detailing them. That fire looks hot. Oh yeah, it's probably the hottest fire that I've came across, and it's actually more than one, because I had to duplicate it to make it more furious. I wish they gave the fonts names too. Yeah, that would be good actually. I think when you go onto your level to name your level, they tell you the name of the font, I think, but it's easier to navigate. But in create mode, it's awful. It's not so good. Maybe they could create like a drop down box or something, because it would be easier to select something rather than having to go through all the fonts, you know. It's hard to find the one that you like. Yeah, it's annoying to count how many times to go to the right font. Yeah, the same. Yeah, pretty much. Oh yeah, I definitely agree with you here. Media Molecule really need to release some font packs. I'm sure they've added some, because I'm sure there's a lot more fonts, not in the full game maybe, but in early access I feel like they added a lot more than there were previously, but maybe I'm wrong. Hey Bleeding Zico, welcome to the stream, hope you're having a great week. Do you know how to make it so my character needs to collect a certain amount of items or coins to unlock a door? I can't find a tutorial anywhere. Yeah, normally I use variables, because in my game when I was collecting things, I was going from one level to the next and I wanted to save the progress. So basically what you need to do is you need to have a variable that says, for example, whatever you're collecting, so like coins, right? So I think Red Stool, he showed me how to do this last week. If you connect the variable modifier, I believe, or the variable, I can't remember, I'll need to check. I'm sure Red Stool will correct me on this, but you connect it to a calculator, and if the calculator equals a certain number of coins, it will activate the door. And in order to multiply your variable, you have to use the modifier and keep adding. So just have a logic that every time you pick up a coin, it activates the variable modifier to add 1 to your coins, and then that will update the actual variable. And then when you have the 1 linked to the calculator, once you collect like 20, it should activate the logic that goes to your door. I don't know if that made sense. Hopefully you know a little bit about the variables, the modifiers and things. If you don't, just practice learning how to use variables first, and you'll understand it really quickly. I think you should just leave notes on things that could be searched if a person really wanted, like the trash. So things like shopping carts wouldn't need notes. Yeah, that's a good point. It's more of a curiosity, isn't it? Variables are so powerful. How many variables can you have in a dream? Is there a limit? Because I'm sure they said there was a limit. I don't think I'm going to get anywhere near the limit, but I'm sure there was a limit. So yeah, just collect all your coins, and it'll keep putting the total up. And once your total equals on the calculator, you put equals like 20, and then when that activates, if it's equal 20, then it will activate. Not sure. 128 limit on variables, I think, and you never found a limit. Oh, okay, so you think it might be 128? I don't think I've ever hit the limit, so, and hopefully I never will. I'm worried because in a game like this, I might need to have a lot of variables, because you're going from scene to scene, and you kind of need to have a lot of data saved for the inventory and story progress, keys, doors you've unlocked, cutscenes that you've already seen. So I'm probably going to use a lot of variables. If anybody knows any tricks on how I can optimize my variables so I don't have to use so many. I think there's a lot of these fierce fires in here. Let me turn that off for now, but you can still hear it when you turn around. There must be another one, maybe here. Yeah, got some fierce fires here. I think this was just so as you got further away there was more noise. I can probably delete those because I kind of learned that you can expand this to go at a greater distance. So, right, so I took the fire off just in case it was bugging anyone, and you can focus on the music now. Alright, so no shopping carts. Would anybody click on the bike? Would you want to ride the bike maybe? Or the pallet board? Or would you click on the graffiti just because you can? Maybe we can put like an Easter egg because it's Sackboy. We can say something about him. But yeah, there's probably no real need to click on a lot of the graffiti. So we can click on the old guy, we can click on the fire, we can click on the dumpster, we can click on the trash. So I guess that's pretty much it for the things that we're going to click on. If we're not going to click on any of these things, then I don't see the point. I doubt you will need more than 128 variables per scene. Oh, it's per scene? I thought it was per dream. Okay, so you can do 128 per scene. That's pretty powerful then. Alright then, I shouldn't have a problem. Variable named coin greater than, each coin has a variable modifier. Use the variable modifier get option to A of a calculator, set calculator to equals, set B to the number of coins needed, the max number, and then output to the door or something. Yeah, that's pretty much the logic that you helped me with on Super Alien Buddy. So hopefully you're still there, Bleeding Zico, and you can read that description and have a go at it and see what you can do. Also, there is a way of creating custom variables. Acert has a tutorial on it, but like I said, I don't think you need more. Yeah, I guess it's like a last resort, because I do think I'll need a lot just to keep track of how much ammo you've got, your health, but it's mostly to do with the inventory and how the scenes are going to change. So if you unlock a door, the door has to stay unlocked, things like that. But I'm sure I can find a way around it. if it does become a problem, but hopefully not. Okay. Even though this scene needs work like all the scenes, I think I'm just going to create like a basic transition now. So just for fun. But I'm going to quickly see if there is any other gates. Let me just put in gate. Not in my creations, in Dreamiverse. Just to see if there was any alternatives, because it's been a long time since we have did this scene. So just to have a look and see. And we can use the sound effect as well. I can see it's you, Delirium. You're helping us out with all the sound effects. I think I'm going to go for maybe something like that, because it is more of a light gate. So we probably we'll use the closing one in the next scene. But we can use that. I think that was the dungeon gate we were using right now. Unless there's any other updates on it, which I don't think there is. There's this one, but probably not going to use it. Nah, just leave it the way it is. But let's get that sound effect. Thanks very much, Delirium. You've helped us out. Right, let me see. So I'm going to copy this gate, right? Let me just keep it on a grid, right? Now, here's the thing. There's two ways of doing this. You can either make the scene really dark, or you can do what I like to do and literally make oh no, what have I done wrong? What did I do wrong? Can I do that? Don't know. There we go. I hate it when the colours blend. I wanted black, but it was like black and the other colour, I think. I think they blend. Right, so this is like the cheap way to do it, right? I'll probably make it dark as well, right? But we'll just pretend that's like the back of the scene, right? So you get the idea. I'm going to have to turn the rain off though when we do this, but I don't think I can do it right now because we're in play mode. It's kind of hard to catch the rain. So if you imagine the scenes like this, and then it goes like, I'll need to animate this properly, because obviously gates are on hinges. So we'll animate this, and then it goes like, and then you go through. So let me just create something really fast. Bang! Get all the logic we need. So we've got our timeline. And I guess we'll have our the character and all that jazz. And then we just need like our cameras. Where did I put that sound effect? Is it still here? Yeah. There we go. So you can imagine going through it. I don't want to make the loading too long because this isn't really a loading screen, this is just for show, pretty much. And then we need our keyframes. So So if I put my keyframe, oh, not a timeline. See if anybody else does this differently. I always like select it. I don't know if you guys leave it blank, but let me see, ease in. So do we want it to go slow and then fast, or fast then slow? Do we want it to do a bit of both, or just keep it linear? Let me keep it linear for just now, and then we can obviously update it later. Let me check out what you're saying here. Wait, I'm not sure about that. It could actually be per dream, which would be quite limiting. Yeah, hopefully it's not per dream. Hopefully. Dang, this is the best community I've seen so far on PlayStation. Thanks for all the help. I'll try out after the stream. Yeah, sounds good. It's always nice because everyone here, they have like different skills and different knowledge. So you've got people that can tell you things about all this logic stuff, or they can give you some tips on sculpting or some music or whatever. So everyone's got a little something to offer. I hope it's not per dream. If it is, that's really disappointing. Yeah, it is. So if we make a big level, we're going to really struggle. But I guess we'll see. I'll let you know once I start doing the variables, if we run into a brick wall. What is a custom variable? Isn't all variables custom? Yeah, I need to make more. Yeah, you need to make every single sound effect because we kind of need them. I think sound effects are one of the hardest things to find in Dreams. Not for everything, but I think it definitely needs more options. By custom variable, I mean you can create your own variables from scratch. Excuse me, using a couple of gadgets. If there's any sounds you need, let me know. I am able to import sounds directly from my laptop. Yeah, sure, I'll let you know. I guess it's all the basic transitions. So using like the gate, we've got the gate here. Lots of wooden doors. No doubt you've put these up already. Metal doors. If there's like a shutter door sound effect. But I'm sure I'll find things like glass smashing and all that. So I'll see if I'm running it into any limitations. I'll let you know. And then you can share that with everyone. They are local variables too, not globals, so they are per scene. Okay. Even if we use the persist in Dream, it doesn't count as a separate thing. Well, that's good then. It will help in getting around the limit of the proper variables, but hopefully make official local variables in a future patch. Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I don't really know too much about it, but hopefully they're always adding things. And they were supposed to be adding this really big update. I thought it was going to be this update, but obviously not. They're supposed to be adding like new tools and new things to help you sculpt. So I'll be interested to see exactly what they've got up their sleeve. Is there a way to create a custom skybox in Dreams? I don't really like the whole flex sky thing Dreams has by default. You know, I don't actually know, because normally when you make games, you make like a sphere and you wrap the world inside the sphere. I don't know if that works, because if I go inside this cube, for example, everything goes invisible. So I don't think you can actually, if the camera's inside something like a sphere or a cube, I don't think you can actually see the inner properties. So you'd probably have to create a sky with the outer properties. I'm sure you could paint a sky if you were really artistic. Just put this all around and paint all over it and put clouds in. I'm sure it's possible, because obviously you don't want this sky. This sky is awful, but I'll be changing the lighting so you won't really see this, to be honest. And because the camera angles are all customized, you won't actually see the sky much in this game, so I can sort of get away with a few things. LB8, you can set a bolt to the gate and a black background, then move the bolt to the edge of the gate so it will turn. Then you can use a keyframe to make the keyframe to make the gate turn during the cutscene. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let me see just a second here. I don't actually use bolts. Let me see. Okay, so to bolt to the gate in the black background and move the bolt to the edge. So does it matter which one I bolt on first? Like, maybe I should bolt here, right? And then bolt to here. How does that work? I don't actually know, to be honest. Oh. So how do you get out of bolt mode? Right, there we go. Right, I don't actually know how this works, right? Does it have to go like this or something? Or do I twist it like this? This is some DIY bolting we've got going here. I don't know if that is the idea. Yes, that's the idea. I've got the idea. There we go. It works, right? So thanks very much. See, I have now mastered bolting. You can get rid of all the sky flex now. Just play around with the sun and sky gadget settings. Yeah, that's a good way to do it, especially with the lighting. I will be right back. Yeah, no problem, Isaac. I just hope they fixed that link level respawn bug. There's a respawn bug? I did not know that. I know that for the alien level, I did try and respawn you at the gateway that you went through, but for some reason it didn't work. Maybe I did something wrong. Okay, that's good to know, thanks. I really want to know what that new sculpting thing they have is. Yeah, someone told me, I can't remember who it was, but they mentioned that the John Beach was very excited about it, so it must be good. I don't know. A lot of people want better sculpting tools so that you don't have to sculpt with different shapes. They want to use like a knife or something more practical. Is it something like that? I don't know, but hopefully it is something that it helps a lot of people to sculpt. Hey Wormcore, welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a great week. Make it hollow. On the sculpt. A sculpt that big would take all your graphics thermal. Oh yeah? Wow. It's crazy, isn't it? Even if it's low detail. Bolt the wall first, then the gate. Yeah, see, great minds think alike. I figured out, because I was thinking, well, this has to be like the parent, right? Because this is attached to this, you know. I remember having to work with bolts in Little Big Planet, the first game, and what a nightmare that was. Like, try to get the pistons to work, and you had to figure out, you know, what's going on, and you had to consider the gravity of everything. Put the purple disc where the hinge is. You will probably need to grab it and rotate it too. Yeah, see, I figured it out. I was just like a little kid playing around with a new toy, and I figured it out, thankfully. Very true about the sculpt taking the whole thermal. I need to remember the limitations of Dreams. I keep envisioning my game as a full-fledged instead of a Dreams creation. Don't ever think that way. You must think that your creation is going to be just as good as a real game. I'm telling you, my ambition, once all the graphics and the gameplay and everything's done, I honestly hope that this can be as close to a classic survival horror game, maybe even better. Let's see how it goes. But I don't really see that many limitations, to be honest, like, because if I animate everything really well, the logic works quite well, nothing's glitchy, I don't see why or how we couldn't make a full survival horror game and make it identical to a real one. I don't see how we couldn't do that. There's nothing in my mind. Like, you think about thermal, but there's ways around the thermal, and you can cut areas up, and I'm sure it's I think it's maybe harder for some other genres if you want to make like a proper Uncharted adventure. I think that will be really difficult. Not impossible, but really difficult. I think you need to have a lot of patience and skill. Trophy earned, Boltmaster. I am the Boltmaster. This is the only time I'm ever going to use bolts, unless I'm like rigging a character or something. Yeah, I watched the stream where John Beach was getting hyped about it. Yeah, I never watched it, so I never actually got to see his face. Maybe it was you who told us about it. And hello LBA2, hope you're good. Yeah, hey Crooked Vulture, welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing good. We're going back to all the old areas, and we added in some text, some descriptive text. So if you press X on an object, typical survival horror fashion, and then we're going to make the door transitions. Try and make as many as we can today, and try and link as many of the scenes that we've made so far, just to get an idea of, okay, does this actually work? And hopefully it does. And then once we're satisfied that all the locations link together quite nicely, then I can start to fully detail the scenes. The thing I'm still waiting on is character sculptors. I need to come up with designs for the two main characters. Obviously we'll need zombies and other NPC characters, but those two main characters, I still don't know what they look like. I still don't know their names. I don't know what clothes they wear, what colour they are, or anything, you know. I know nothing. Absolutely nothing. So right now, let's just make this, open it like that. There you go. Oh, it's a bit wonky, but nobody's gonna know. Nobody's gonna realise. it just opens on its own. Look at that, perfect. Let me just go back, right? Because I'm working with keyframes, I had to reset there. So let me just see how this works. Open up, come on. Where's my... I'm gonna have to do it this way. What the hell is this? Right, finally. Right, hold on, I need to... Stupid rain. If I turn the rain off, is it going to be hard to find again? Let me see. Nah, it's easy to find again. Just turning it off for now, just so it doesn't get in the way. I'll probably make it a bit, just so we can get the sound effects in. Let me see. I think the 3D panning's on. Let me turn that off so we can hear it a bit better. Yeah, definitely make it faster. So if you're sitting here like that, I mean, I know I'm going to have to tweak this a bit because there's going to be a scene where you're looking at it first and then it goes and opens up. Let me just put it a bit longer and then just stretch it out. There we go. I'm blind! Right. How close do we get? Do we like show you the whole door? So there's so many different ways we can do this. We can either do it like it just appears and then the door opens and then we go through. Or do we approach the door like this and then it opens up and then we go through? I don't know. Because we could do it like that, or we could do it like that. I just don't know how close we should be. Let's try it like. So I don't want the gate to, you know, hit the camera. Because if the camera's there, let me see. The gate kind of goes through the camera. We don't want that. That's bad. Let me see where it gets to. Let me see. There we go. We're not knocking the camera off, look. This is the most fun I've ever had in Dreams. Opening, closing a gate. Right, so that looks okay, right? So once that opens, let me just change that to cut. I hate that cut is not the default transition type. How many times are you going to use smooth as a default? You're not, you're going to use cut. Most people use cuts. At least I do anyway. So we put it like that, and then let me just lift this up a bit. Now we can do a transition. So let's ease into that. In the transition time, I don't know. Let's just go forward. Like, because if that gate opens, you don't want to see that, do you? Like that. How long the transition is going to take, so you don't want it to be too fast. 1, 2, 3. Maybe that's too slow. But we won't know until we find out, right? And then we'll obviously have a doorway here that links us to the next scene. Let me catch up here. Exactly, just need to use tricks to get around limitations, same as real game creation really. Yeah, exactly. And you know the funny thing is, I was playing the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo, and honestly, you could make that in Dreams, because it's so simple. Like, he just slashes his sword, he can break some boxes, you run around, you activate ladders, you can run. The controls are very simple. You could definitely make that in Dreams. I think a lot of the time you think Dreams can't do it because a lot of the people that are making things are making things solo, so they don't have as much polish, or they're still learning the tools, so it makes Dreams look a little less professional. But I'm sure once we all get our head around Dreams, not just the limitations but our own skills, that we'll be able to make stuff that's pretty well polished. Yeah, someone mentioned it. For now, the gate will look weird when it opens due to where the purple pivot is. Oh yeah, probably. I guess I can fix it. I guess. But right now, I don't know if this is going to be the final gate that we use. So I might have to end up redoing this transition anyway. But just for the sake of creating a demo to link all the scenes together, I would like to have some kind of transition just to quickly get an idea of how the game's going to look. Hey Shindig 9000, welcome back to the stream. Hope you're having a great week. The tension you built in your last game was good, especially the music or the depths scene. Yeah, when you go underground. Yeah, I wanted to try and do different styles for each environment, and yeah, that was definitely a more horror vibe, because I do like making comedy stuff, but I also like making horror stuff and serious stuff. So haven't made any proper horror cutscenes yet, but I'm excited for the day when I do. Yeah, put the purple bolt exactly where the hinge on the gate would be, otherwise it opens strangely. Okay, well, is it easy enough to do it? I guess the hinge would be like somewhere like there, right? I guess. Looks the same to me, but I think it'll do the job just fine. Let me see. If I go into play mode, this should work. No, because we're the character. Hold on, I think I need to take this off. Alright. No, it's still dragging us to that character. I'm going to turn the character off. Excuse me, character, but we do not want you right now. I hope this zombie really needs to get some of the logic away. Let me see. Right, well, obviously we'll keep the gate open a bit longer. I think going through was a bit too slow, wasn't it? So I think maybe I will go back to 1.5 just to see. You think that looked okay? I think it looked alright. I mean, the only thing I could do is maybe bring the camera up more, because right now it's like right in the middle of the gate, whereas the character stands a bit higher than that, so maybe it would be better to do that, because the gate's like that. Maybe I should make the camera like that, so it's a bit higher. I think that would make more sense, because right now I was just trying to frame it in, but it looks a bit stupid when you're a character that's slightly taller, right? Don't want to make it super high. Maybe like here. Maybe that would be better. Take a look at my jam entry: Morbid Despair, Taste of Fear. Oh, Taste of Fear. If you want an example of what you can do for a survival horror, I think I seen the thumbnail for it. It was like a creepy baby thing. I'm going to play that on Saturday just to see. But the picture did look really good. You probably already know, but keep changes on the second keyframe, then shorten the timeline to where the second keyframe is. Do what? Keep changes, what's this? When this is on, any changes made to an object by the animation position, tweaks and so on are permanent. When off, the object will return to whatever state it was in before the animation. I suppose I could do that. Yeah. I mean, this works too, but yeah, I see what you mean. But that's a good option. I could probably use that in the future. It saves me stretching things over all the time. So that was the. Let me see. Should I do the sound effect when the door closes at the end, or should I put that at the beginning of the next scene? Let me see. Let me see how it looks first. So like we've got the closing sound now. Let me just take off the panning. So as you're going through, I'm going to have to redo this quickly. Ease in, and then just go all the way there again. So we go do, and then after 1.5 it kind of goes again. Maybe that looks good. Let's see. Sounds good, doesn't it? Perfect. Perfect. It's all coming together. It's all coming together very nicely. Show. Oh, hold on. The chat went crazy. Show the door in full view and then have it open. And then go through. Let me see, what do we have right now? I think we kind of have something like that. So you can you can't see the full door, but it's like, I tried to make it like head height. If you want me to zoom out a bit more at the start, maybe I can do that, because right now you don't see the full door, you just see some of it. I didn't really look at references to see how it looks in the real game. I'm kind of just doing this as I go. Approaching the door while opening it and then going through it sounds cool. So you think that's a better idea? Because right now it's just open the gate, go through. So I guess it's just an opinion really, if you want it to open as you stand, or if you want to go close to it and then it opens. Like, the camera's in the way there, but like just kind of go towards it a little bit then open it. But I don't know, I guess I can do both and see what looks better. But welcome Shawnee Forest, welcome to the stream. I hope you're having a great week, and I hope you like survival horror, because we're going to make the best survival horror game in Dreams at the end of the year, hopefully. Yeah, in Resident Evil the door opens as you move towards it, right? I can't remember, every Resident Evil is so different, I don't even remember. I know that there's certain doors that they try and build tension, so as they move towards the door it's like dun 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 dun. You know, it's like more tense, like I don't want to open this door but I'm going to open it anyway. But I'm trying to think about the other doors, like how much emphasis they put on walking towards the door, but I can change it. If that's what you remember, then I can change. I wish you could set your own defaults on every menu. Yeah, just like you can set the save position, it would be good if you could save your tools and stuff, or at least what you last used if the option's on. Hey Thomas Kroll, what's happening here? Well, you're probably confused because we're looking at a black cube, but if you remember the old Resident Evil games, you used to be able to open the doors, and this is like a transition. So as you'll see down here, we're going to open this gate here, and then that'll lead us to this little scene as you go through. So a rough idea. I'm going to update it, make you walk towards it a little bit first. I think that is probably a better idea. Hey 2crack2, welcome to the stream, hope you're having a great week. I finished the alien level. Oh good, what did you think? Was it to satisfaction? For my second level, I think you'll find it's okay. You can make a Final Fantasy VII remake in Dreams, but the main challenge will be the character customization, enemy AI, and data remember. Yeah, I suppose like leveling up and stuff, that would be quite heavy. But I think you could make some simple AI, just they run towards you, they attack you, they defend, they attack you again. Try not overcomplicate it. Hey Stu Nemo, welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a great week. Amazing, loving this, and this is only a door transition. Wait till you see the rest. On your game, I like the reference to the band Alter Bridge. The song you mentioned is one of my favourites by them. Yeah, it just came in my head when I was writing it about isolation. I thought, oh, perhaps that would be something that would pop into your head. Missing one text log and 2 dig sites. Didn't see any cameos unless it's one of the ones I missed. Yeah, it was a dig site. Funny enough, it's the very first dig site. So next to your spaceship, on the right hand side, before you get to the crystal caves, there's a dig site on the next to the wall. So if you find that one, that's basically your cameo. I don't know what text log. Every small area has one text log, one audio log, and one dig site. So if you found all 3 in each of the smaller levels, then it's probably in the hub world. The text logs in the open world bit, there's one at the start of the game on behind you next to the ship as you climb up. There's another one inside a cave. It's like as you go underneath the ground, there's like a little opening on the left or the right, and there's a text log sitting in that little cave. And then there's another one after you go past the Stone Kingdom on the right hand side. There's another one lying down. Looks good. Put the closing sound in the next scene, probably. Yeah, I mean, it's an idea. Because normally it would, when you go into the next scene, you would hear it close. And that probably would be quite cool. It's hard to see, got to make these decisions. I guess once we transition between the scenes, we'll test it and we'll see what looks good. Amazing, oh yeah, looks good. Yup, works like that too. Sorry, I got to leave early today, but I will definitely rewatch the stream whenever I can. Yeah, no problem. Just relax, and we'll see you next time. Leave it as is. Don't want a carbon copy of Resident Evil anyway. Yeah, I suppose you're right. So you think it looks okay, like the height and things? Because I think it sounds good. It looks good. The only difference that I need to say is I put the height up, so your eye level's here. Do I go back slightly just to let you see the ground, or do I just keep it? Because you start quite close. I don't think it's a problem. But I think the timing and everything of the sound effects are pretty good. Pretty good. So then we obviously need to get our doorway, which is going to link us to the next scene. So here's our doorway. So this is going to be a 2-way because you can come back into this scene. That's another headache because I need to figure out how to spawn the character. See, I tried to use this checkpoint system, so like as you activate this into another scene, I thought you could activate the checkpoint but on the other side and you would spawn automatically, but I don't know how it works. because my character did not spawn next to the checkpoint. It spawned like where it was originally at the start of the game. So I don't know if I'm going to use checkpoint mode. So now we need to decide if we're going to put like a transition. I think the greenness is just like a crossfade, but you can dissolve and make it black. So we've got the bubbles, which look awful. You've got the fade out. You've got the wipe. You've got the circle. You've got the stars. You get the love heart, and you've got like a wobbly thing. Ooh, look, it's a dream. Probably just going to stick with the traditional dissolve. I can't even read that. There we go. That's a bad thing. See, if you put your tools on a black background, you cannot read what the hell that says. So I have to do that. So I guess the transition isn't really a big deal, to be honest, as long as it gets us to one scene to the next. So it's good to name them, because when you go into your dream you have to connect everything through a wire. So I still need to properly name everything. So we'll just say alleyway. Normally I just do alleyway into streets. I don't think it's like so specific, it's just to give you a reference of what links to what. So now that links to the streets, and I'm pretty much going to play it like, let's see, as soon as the sound effect ends. Let me see if I can do that a bit sooner, maybe. Try and get it as close to the end of the sound effect as I can. I think that's good, don't you think? Because the transition comes in now, and then it goes to the next scene. I'm sure someone's already done this in a tutorial, but I've never actually seen how to do it. When you're playing music in a scene, how do you make the music continue to play in the next scene? Because normally when you activate a doorway, the music cuts off and it goes to a loading screen. So I need to know, if we're playing a track and then we go to the next area, how do I keep this track playing as the doorway loading is being activated? That's something I need to figure out. Let me just catch up on some stuff here. Leave it as it is. Yeah, I see it now, but every time I go near the ship, it's going on to the cutscene. It's because you've collected all the fuel tanks. So one thing you can do is, I don't know if I've made the trigger too large, but I think once you collect all the fuel tanks, that's it. You go back to your ship and it's done. So the only other way you can see it is if you reset your progress, but then you'd have to watch the cutscene again, and then you get to see it. It's not that big of a deal, the cameo, but it's there, I promise. Yeah, pretty smooth and decent height level. Maybe add a bit saying, do you want to stay or leave or something? Really good game, enjoying it. Yeah, I guess that's something I could update on the game to allow you to explore a little more. Or I could reduce the trigger radius to make it easier. So if you don't want to go near the ship, you can go around the ship. I can still update it. It's not that difficult to do it. No, keep it how it is. Close to the gate. Only change it to further away if you decide to have the player walking towards the door. Oh, okay. Perfect. Nice. I need to know too. Yeah. I'm sure I've seen a tutorial on it once before. I just don't remember how it was done. I don't think you can. I'm sure there was a tutorial that said how to keep your music playing as you go through a doorway. I'm almost positive at some point I saw that. I saw a tutorial about that music trick. I can't remember if it was Tap Giles or Lady Elect UK. I'll go find it. I'm sure there's some way to do it, unless it's not, you're not able to do it anymore. But I'm pretty sure during the beta there was a tutorial on it. I'm pretty sure I've seen a tutorial that wasn't showing that specifically, but could be used to make it work. Music resuming in the next level. It was like when you go through the doorway, you just, it's the actual Dreams loading screen, but the music still plays. I don't know how it works. There's pre-made logic that someone made to make music play from level to level by using a variable to remember the position of the play bar of the music to then continue from that position in the next. Jeez, how do you make a variable that knows the position of the mark? I guess you logic guys probably know the answer to that. I've got no idea. So maybe the scene just loads really quickly and the music starts to play before the visuals, perhaps. Right, so we've got our transition scene. Obviously now we need to get the excuse me again. We need to get the triggers now, basically. That was a glass trigger zone. What trigger zone was I using for the cameras? It was connected to the player. Right, let me just put it to the door. So I mean you can use labels if you want. There's nothing stopping you from using labels. I think at the time I was in LBP mode, so I was putting tags on everything. So this detects a tag, not a label. But you can use a label if you want. They both work. So it's just a case of me creating the trigger zone now for the gate. We want to go pretty close to the gate, don't we? Not super close, but because you want to almost touch it, right? I don't need to worry too much about how accurate this is, because you're not really going to affect the other parts of this. Like this part, you're not really going to affect it, but let me see if that works, right? So we've got our zone here, and then let me just take just a test to see how close we need to go before this plays. Now let me just I think, is he still, there we go. Let's bring him back to life. Okay. Heavy footsteps. Shut up! Right, let's see how close we need to get before this triggers. And I'll need to make another... Yeah, so it's like we have to get... You can't press X until... now. So it's like you're pretty much... You can make like one extra step before you touch the trigger zone. Yeah. I think that's a good radius. But I'm probably going to... Do you think we need an extra camera? Because... God, she's climbing over the glass. Get off my glass. So, like, you come here. Do you think we need an extra camera? Or do you think it's fine the way it is? Because I can make another camera. It's easy to do it. Not so difficult. And we'll need to do the... Shut up! We'll need to do the text that we can select as well. Right, so let me do that just now. Let's see if we've got an answer for that music thing. Maybe linking the time to the variable and using that for the start position in the next level. Sounds mental though, yeah. I mean, I don't really know too much about logic, so... timelines have a position output. Just wire that to the variable, but it's more complicated than that, of course. Of course it is. I can't imagine you can make music play seamlessly through the scene load, but I'm usually wrong. Maybe it just plays before the visuals come up, maybe. Because you know you have the transition, and you can set a timer how long you want the transition to be, like 0.5, 1 second. Maybe the music just plays before, and the loading was so fast that I didn't realise that the transition didn't really stop the music much. Hey our King Daddy, welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a great week. We're making a survival horror game, as you may have already have realised. Is there a negative to using tags? I could swear I heard it wasn't good to use them too much. Well, I'm only using them because I use tags in Little Big Planet, so it's normal for me. You can use labels. Nothing wrong with using labels. It's just when I first started playing Dreams, I used tags. Now I usually use labels, so I could change it to a label. That's no problem, it's easy. Just label him as a friend, and that's it really. I don't think it would be that much of a problem, but for me, tags, I was having some problems with tags, but then I solved the problem because now normally in Little Big Planet you put a tag on it and the tag is just around your character, but in Dreams it actually has a position. So see here, we need to do the X, the Y and the Z. Now this is clearly the wrong way around, but you get the idea that the tags kind of need to face where they're going. Since my logic isn't so complicated, it doesn't really matter that this is not the Y-axis, because this thinks the character's on his side. But we're not really dealing with positions, we're just dealing with, okay, the tag is here. Because sometimes when you put the tag in, maybe the tag would be like here or something, and maybe your box was here, and you're like, how come the tag's not activating? And it's because your tag should be exactly where the trigger zone is. That's pretty much it. That's the only problem I ever had with tags, was that. Found it. If the link doesn't work, it's called Persistent Music Between Scenes. It's from TAP Giles. That's quite handy then. I'm going to check that out, because it's definitely something I need to use. No negative for using tags as far as I can see. There's no limit and can be named anything. Yeah, that's one thing I like about tags, because labels, you only have a set amount of things that you can label, but tags, you could label it whatever you want. Have a close-up camera to the gate maybe. Okay, let's try that. LBA, when using door cutscenes or anything, should use a tag called pause to pause time. Otherwise a zombie can kill you during the pause or the door cutscenes, even the menu. Yeah, that's something I'll need to keep in mind. But yeah, we'll once we get the character animations, because this zombie can't even do anything yet, so I wouldn't worry too much about the zombie right now. She's not looking too good. What have I did wrong here? Get rid of the connectors. I do not want to see your connectors. Right, let me put another camera. Right, so the cameras. So that camera was linked to that camera. Right, this is how lazy I am. Right, just to copy and paste everything. Right, so we've got, that's another trigger zone. So we need to figure out how this camera looks. So I don't want to see round places, so I need to be more tactful. I'm going to fix this, obviously, because I'm going to change the wall, so don't worry too much about it. But I guess once you get to the end, maybe I can make the camera like that, maybe, just for talking's sake. And then we can have the trigger zone. Let me see where that is. Sometimes it's not so easy. Right, so we need to figure out how close do we need to get before this triggers. So I'd say maybe once we get pretty close, like maybe here. So once we get here, it triggers. Let me just like expand that a little bit. Then I'll need to look at the old trigger zone, because the old trigger zone did not anticipate that I was going to do that. So I think it was like there, roughly. Let's have a quick... Oh, I need to fix the rewind the scene. Don't forget to rewind. Okay. Shut up. Right, so let me just take my time here. So, let me see. So, it's like he's kind of off screen, so I'll need to fix that a little bit. Maybe make it as he gets a little bit closer, maybe. Because you can either fix the camera or you can just fix this scene here. Maybe make it so he has to go just a tiny bit more. I don't know if there's a point in me adjusting both, but I'm going to do it anyway. Right. Let's see. Get out of my way. Get out of my way. Then you go through the gate. Let me just see how it looks when I go back the way. So I'm going to have to fix a lot of the cameras, because like I'm going to have to like really test it, because you see if you go in the corner here, you don't see yourself. So I'm going to have to fix a lot of the cameras, but it's roughly working when you hit the edge of the screen. Oh, hello zombie. Take that. And I'll need to put things over like the bike and stuff. See how she jumped on top of that bike? That's cheating! I'll need to do things like that so you can't walk on the bike. Block that off. Block things like that off. But so far it looks alright. It'll be good once we get our transition in. And then... So let me link that up right now, actually. So you have to get detected by this, right? So that's one of the requirements to activate this. And you also need to press X. So normally I would just throw in an extra control sensor. There's other ways to do it. You could activate a tag or whatever, but I normally just say, okay, if you press... hold on, I need to get an AND gate. To combine these two together... Move those over there. Okay. So if you press X and you are inside this trigger zone, then it should activate the scene. Now, we had a problem before with this character because his camera was overriding things, I think. So I'll need to check out his camera if this doesn't work. Let's see, as a little test. Right, so we need to fix that at the start. You've seen that, the gate kind of, because I think it was because of this here. So there's Can I stretch that over? Okay. 2 ways to do this, right? Maybe the gate is affected by gravity, right? So I don't know if I can adjust something here, like if it's movable. You can still keyframe things, right? But they're not movable, right? And collidable. Would that change anything? I don't know. Can you keyframe things that aren't movable? That's the question. Let's just have a look and see. You don't learn unless you practice, right? There you go. We done it. We done it. Hold on, let me go back. So as you can see, as we make our way through down the alleyway, get a stupid zombie out of our way, and then we activate the new camera. We need to get to, like, if you go here it doesn't work, you need to go about at least here, and then we activate our scene. Now the question is now, as you activate this, it cuts straight to the door. So I'm thinking to make it a bit smoother, we could make a fade out, just a really short fade out. So rather than make this, no, we make it a cut, but hold on, we need to get a, just to make it smoother, because when you press X on the gate pops up straight away. So I'm just going to put a, where the hell am I going? I think it's in here. It's a wiper. Just to sort of quickly test this. So we've got the blackness. So it's going to take, this is going to take like half a second to fade out, half a second to fade in, which is too long. But if I do it any quicker, you're probably not really going to notice it much. So let's say for talking's sake, we have 3 and 3, right? 3 and 3. I'll just expand that a bit. So basically there's a little transition, but it might be too fast. So if it's too fast, I'm going to have to move all of this, just so we don't click the door and the door pops right in your face. So hopefully this works. Kind of. Not so much, but because it's too fast. So if I put it to like, just for talking's sake, I want to see how this works. It's kind of popping in, so you kind of see that first. So what I need to do is I need to move some of this stuff over, because what's happening is it's fading out, but as it fades out, this activates. So I basically need to move all this stuff over so that the transition doesn't actually begin until this fades in. So let me just say that's like 1.5, right? If the grid is accurate, that should be about 1.5. Which means now when we press X, that'll fade out, and then as it fades in, you see the door again. So that should look a bit better. Let's see. Anyway, so you go here, you fade out, and then you fade in. Looks a bit better, doesn't it? To actually see the, I mean, I can make the fade faster as well. It doesn't have to be 0.5. Just because I think pressing X on the door is a bit, and it pops up, it's a bit stupid. So if we have a little scene like that, I think it looks a bit better. But like I said, it doesn't have to be 1.5. I could make it like 1.3, 0.3, sorry, just to make it a bit faster. But then I would have to move this to like there maybe. Oh, get my way. I think that looked a lot better. 0.3, I think it looks quite good. So you get the transition, but it's not so slow. It goes like boom. There you go. Now the question is, because of the transition, it fades in. I don't really have to use the fade in, but because of the fade in, you don't really get to focus on the door closed so much. When it fades in, the door's just about to open, so you can see here, as it fades in, the door's already opening. So the question is, do we want to see the door a little bit longer before it opens? So for example, here, we would have to let this stay open a bit longer. So I would have to move a lot of things to make this work. Hold on. If we want to stare at the door for an extra few seconds, for example, and I'll move this back to here, so it's like once this fades in, you get to see the door a little longer before it actually opens, because right now the transition comes on and the door's already about to open. So let's see if this looks better. So you see the door, that looks better, because now you can actually see the door before it opens, just a little bit longer. Looks good. I think it looks good. So now that we've got our base sort of logic done, let me just save it quickly. Now we know what we're going to do for the rest of the scenes. So as we go into the next area and so on, we'll basically use the same kind of logic. Now I should have probably made this independent as a element, then I could just paste it in all the levels and just change things, but I don't think it's going to take me that long to redo this in the scenes. It's not that complicated of logic. But yeah, all we need to remember is it's 0.3 for the wipers, and then the door starts about halfway through the second. Let me just catch up on some things that you guys are talking about. This already looks great. Yeah, hopefully once we get the transitions in, I think the main thing is the graphics, because a lot of people will want to see really good graphics. We can't do the graphics just yet until we finalise the level design, and we can't do the animations until we finalise the characters, because in Dreams you can't transfer the animations over so easily. You have to start from scratch or import limbs and find really crazy ways to do it. So you won't see any progress on the character. The zombies will stay basic for now. There won't be any animation. The environments will still look a bit basic. But what we'll start to do, and I'll probably start doing this off stream as well, just so we can catch up a little bit. I'll start to make these transitions, go from scene to scene, and add in some more sound effects. Try and get the ambience for all the environments looking good. I'll get the what do you call it? The descriptions sorted. A worthless pile of junk. I'll need to decide on the size as well, because I mean, like, how small do you think it should be? Like, do you think the default size of subtitle is a good size, or do you think it's slightly too big? You know, because I would have to experiment just to see different sizes, you know. So for example, the bottom one is the default one, and this is me just reduced it a little bit, so I don't want to make it the text too small, because I don't want it to be too hard to read. If anyone's played Death Stranding, you'll know how difficult that game is to read anything. Like, you know, what does that say? So maybe that size is good, considering everyone has a different eyesight, you know, so you don't want to make it too small for people. So I think maybe that's a good middle ground, but I don't know if it's too big. I guess we'll just need to wait and see. Good thinking, Redstool. We need those iframes. Oh yeah, I'll need to figure out how to do it. How does pause work? Do you need some logic or just a tag called pause? I suppose it just depends on how your logic works. You could use like a tag and it disables everything, basically. So the zombies stop moving, they can't attack you. My idea is like you would have like a switcher, and it would switch between regular phase, then there's a phase where they've noticed you, where they can go for you and attack you, and then a phase where they pause. But I'm sure Redstool will give you a really in-depth explanation. Here it goes. For tags, it always sets its location to where it was first placed. For the puppet, the tag location will be where the microchip is, so if you would have to move it to the center of the puppet. Yeah, that was the first thing I had to discover, that you need to move the angle of the tag. How would you actually pause the zombie though? Deactivate the microchip or something? By pause, that would be a tag called pause and a trigger zone set to max range to then sense that to disable the AI movement and attacks and animations. So yeah, pretty much what I was thinking. You would have, like, in my eyes, a selector that selects attack phase, regular phase, pause phase, and it just skips through them depending on the logic. So it's probably not that difficult to do. Seeing your game really makes me want to make an old school survival horror game. Bring it on. I want to see what you can come up with, and you can take all the things that we've learnt together here, and you can make an even greater survival horror. Just don't take my homeless man away. He's like the lifeblood of my creation. Him and his cigarette. See, I'm curious, like, do Media Molecule frown on using cigarettes? Because I know they do in Little Big Planet. See, this is controversial. I put out an animation only on YouTube, not on Little Big Planet. Fables episode 1, and the guy smokes a cigarette, and it's just like a piece of chalk that looks like a cigarette, and it's got some smoke effect that is in the game. I didn't make it, it is in the game, and I kind of got in trouble for it, and they said, like, well, we can't really promote your level because he's smoking a cigarette. And I thought, okay, fair enough. However, they team picked a level like maybe a few weeks later, and it was on a platformer with these evil clowns, and one of the clowns was smoking a big giant cigar, and I'm like, where's the standards? You know, you told me off for having a little chalk cigarette, yet you've got this massive clown smoking a big cigar, you know. So I kind of got a bit annoyed with the Little Big Planet moderation because it was inconsistent. And I don't really know where they stand on smoking in Dreams, because it is a 12. Dreams are 12. So So maybe smoking's okay, I just don't know the official stance. So I'll probably delete the cigarette just to be on the safe side. We only put it there as a joke, but I'll need to really figure out what their guidelines are on things like a cigarette. You know, is it allowed in a 12 game? Thanks, really helpful. You would have to do this to anything that needs to be paused during pause. Yeah. Thanks, Redstool. I think just stopping damage to the player is all I'll use. Seems too much work to pause everything. Yeah, you really need to plan out your logic in order to get it to work with the pause. Otherwise you'll have to rearrange everything. Obviously enemy and player sound will also need to be muted or something. Yeah, everything. Absolutely everything. You're going to need to really think about it in advance. You could stop damage, but it won't stop sound effects and enemy impacting the player. Yeah. Let me see here. Yeah, I guess it won't be so simple for me. But now we know. Now we can do it. Now that we're learning. This is really beginning to come together. Love witnessing the progress. Yeah, and I think by the next stream, I'm hoping to put in a lot of work into this off stream. So next Thursday, hopefully I'll have as many of the transitions and camera placements done as possible, and I'll let you guys see it. We'll see how much time I've got to do it. If not, we'll just continue this in the next stream. It would be easier to have one keyframe on the enemy, cutting off movement and sounds of an AI during pause. Yeah, I mean, keyframes, we normally don't think about keyframes, but yeah, that is a good way to use keyframes, not just for animation, but to actually change settings on and off. Let me just play the music. We've got the Resident Evil 3 music again. Yeah, that doesn't sound so bad actually, and I think it would work perfect. I'll have to remember that. See, we're always learning stuff, that's good. Yeah, it's perfect. Excellent. We're making good progress. I think it looks amazing, mate. Neat. If anyone has any logic questions, feel free to ask. Yeah, Red Stool could literally have his own video series, like, ask me anything. Just save that gate opening logic as a new creation to use for all your other doors, then just change the gate's sculpt for whatever door is needed. Yeah, it's a good idea. I noticed though that if you save an item that's already in a level, you have to publish that scene as well as the new element that you created. Now, I'm going to publish this scene anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but say I was creating a stupid level, and then in the level I made something serious, so I decided, okay, I'll save this. If I use that creation in anywhere else, I need to upload the stupid creation as well. So you need to be careful, like if you're going to make anything in a scene and save an element from that scene, make sure you're okay with the fact that you have to upload that scene. So that's why I'm always really careful where I make my things. But I'll probably do that and it'll save me remaking it again. I have a ton, but my head is fried from too much logic last night. I hope to see you around when I can actually think of something. Yeah, just make a list. Anything that pops into your head, make a list. And we actually have a Discord server, so if you have a Discord name, I can leave a link in the chat and you can join that. And Red Stool, he is in the Discord. He has a different name, but he'll let himself be known, and then you guys can talk off stream as well. The Mutant Lizard, hey, welcome to the stream. Oh, what the hell happened? I think I highlighted this by accident. I think you need a more in-depth tutorial for character modelling. Yeah, sadly character modelling is not my speciality, but I might work with another creator who's pretty good at modelling and see if we can work out something. Hey Enoch Root, nice to see you. Welcome, hope you're having a great week. What vibe are you going for? Well, I guess you could say it's going for more of a Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3 vibe. However, I do love Silent Hill as well, so you're going to get some elements from that too. But it is more of a Resident Evil game with zombies and mutated monsters and things like that. But that's not to say that it won't be creepy, because once you get to the hospital, I think you'll start to see more Silent Hill influences from there. So I think it's going to be a unique blend, but I don't really want to carbon copy something. I want to try and make my own story and characters and just make a survival horror. It just happens to be like these games, but I'm not specifically copying anything. All the environments brand new, so hopefully we'll get something that's got a good balance between the classic survival horror but something that's quite unique as well. They need more in-depth tutorials for everything in Dreams. The tutorials in-game are just for basics. I was hoping full release would give us advanced tutorials. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that they need to cover, but how much time do they have to make Dreams and cover this stuff? Who knows? I'll be around a lot. I'm level 251 in-game and spent a lot of time understanding logic. Yeah, he has. If you've got a question, ask him. Hey Scary Animations, if you're using someone's model, do you need to credit who created this model? I mean, technically you don't have to write anything in the description, because I use tons of stuff and I'll never be able to credit everyone. It's a lot of work. I mean, you can if you want to do like an in-game credits, just to credit people. However, you don't have to, because when you go to the genealogy of your level, you can see every creation that you've used, and all the creators, they all get credit there. So if people really want to see who made this object or who was involved, they can check on that menu, so they will get credit automatically, whether you give them more visual credit or not. Hey Porky Pig, welcome back, hope you're having a great week. We've made some minor but important progress. We made the gate transitions, and we got some text here that we're working on so we can interact with some of the environment. Hey Ian Hon, how you doing? Welcome back to the stream. We're doing pretty well. Damn, that joke about character modelling went right over my head first time round. What did I say? I can't remember anymore. See, everything goes by my head as well. Thank you so much for answering. Yeah, I mean, let me see, can I see from here? I don't know if I can, but normally you can check and see exactly what you've used. So I'm going to give you guys a quick run through of what we did so far, and then I'm going to have to end the stream because I have to go to work, unfortunately. Maybe next week we can have a slightly longer stream. So I still need to put the logic in for triggering the descriptive parts, but we've got all our camera angles here, and as you can see, as you get to here, you're going to activate this gate, which has a transition, and you go through the gate, and then that takes us to the next level. So it's small progress, but it was I think it's a good step forward. So I'll get those I'll keep that just in case. I'll get all the descriptive stuff working, so you can press X and you can read things, and I'll put this into a dream. Finally we can put this in a dream, and then I'll work on the next scene and get a transition. I'll do as many as I can off stream. If I don't have time, I'll just do them in the next stream, and so we can link all the scenes we've made so far together, put all the descriptive stuff in, and a lot of the scenes we made, we didn't actually do the camera angles at all, so we've got a lot of camera angle work to do. And then hopefully we can do some sound effects, some ambient stuff, and hopefully that'll start to come together. The only thing we won't have is combat, animations, proper lighting and graphics, but all that stuff will come later. So I'm just going to give this another quick save here, and then I am going to have to go to work now, unfortunately. So if anyone's just joining the stream, we stream every Saturday playing levels, but every Thursday we stream a create stream, so we're making a survival horror game similar to Resident Evil and Silent Hill. So we'll be doing more of this next week, and you can always catch up on the streams, because maybe after like half an hour or something, YouTube automatically uploads the video, so you can check out anything that you might have missed, and you might uncover a lot of tips, because I learn new things. Everyone in the chat shares a lot of good details. I got the game and others a lot more to Dreams than I thought. I'm enjoying it very much, though it's interesting to learn everything. Yeah, it's a lot to learn, but it's so good once you get into it. On the back shift, brutal. Oh yeah, yeah. Sadly. Loved watching this stream. Good chat in the comments too. Hope to catch you all soon. I'm only going to go for a few hours, but because my schedule's kind of split. But what can you do? What's your name on Dreams, if you don't mind me asking? I think he's Eternal Darkness, but with a S and a Z at the end. Enjoyed the stream as usual. See everyone later. Great stream, mate. Game is looking amazing. It is looking pretty fine. Let me just send a link to the Discord server. So if anybody wants to chat off stream, you should be able to chat in here. So it keeps us all together, you know, even when we're not streaming. And you can discuss anything you want. You can talk about project ideas. Doesn't have to be about this channel. It can be about other things. So hopefully that was an okay stream today. We're making good progress, small but steady. I think once we got the transitions together, it's going to be really nice. I think it's going to look really good, and we'll take this one step at a time. But I think we'll hit a moment where everything will just come together. Hey RoboKiller, welcome back. What do you think of Resident Evil 3 Remake? I'm amazed by Nemesis's new look. Oh my, yeah, it looks really good, really detailed. And I like a lot of the new moves that he's using, and a lot of the new weapons, so that'll be very interesting to see. Okay, but yeah, so I'm sorry to cut this short. Anyone that's just joined the stream, we'll be back for another stream on Saturday to play some new levels. Next Thursday, we'll continue the survival horror create stream. I need to go to work now, so I'm going to have to cut this a little short today, and I hope everyone has a great end of your week. So I'm going to have to run now. Take care, and I'll see you later. Bye.